What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to break down what's going on with SPY, Tesla, the QQQ, Nvda, and many tickers out there. Talk about what the charts are telling us, what the news is saying about the markets, what news is coming out, and what you should be watching for in this pre-market update. Before I break anything down about what the charts are telling us, what you should be watching for, let me just mention a couple of things real quick. I'm firstly not a financial planner. Take none of this as financial advice. And don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer ends very soon. Put in $100 in your guaranteed 5 free stocks with a $100 cash reward. Offerings in just about 10 days. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. All right, guys, so the market is starting to look a little bit weak by the time we're opening for now. This did happen in the past when the market ended up just getting a spontaneous push to the upside. So always be prepared for anything. However, looking at the current technicals, right? You want to watch this on a level-to-level basis. The odds are greatly favoring downside right now, in my opinion. And the market started off on the weekend after we had Bullard giving his speech early in the morning. So Bullard gave his speech already. The market's slowing down a bit. And now we have some building permits data coming out. We can see this is once again above what the forecast was. The housing is still showing some strength, holding up quite nicely, all the housing data. But let me just remind everyone that at 11:45 a.m. Eastern time today, we have Williams from the Fed speaking. Excuse me. And you have to be ready for that, because Williams is going to cause a lot of volatility. Whatever they say is going to lead to big reactions in the markets. On top of that, don't forget that for Wednesday, we have tons of Fed speakers and Jerome Powell speaking. So it's going to be a very, very big day. But until then, we have Williams speaking at 11:45 a.m. Make sure you're ready for that. As far as earnings goes, we have FedEx by the time the market closes and just a couple of other ones, nothing too massive. And we did see futures drop a bit as we kicked off the week after the holiday. The market is still starting to show some signs of weakness, and this is completely healthy. It's not necessarily like a massive crash or anything like that. This is just a very healthy pullback for now, and we're just going to break this down on a level basis. All right, so now let's talk about the market. Let's talk about SPY and many of these others, okay? So looking at SPY, we formed that bearish divergence I was telling you about, and the market got this rejection. Now we're getting very close to this major support zone, which happens to be around this 435 area. Now, there was once a time when the market just got a crazy little bounce out of nowhere, right? The resistance levels are going to be closer to about this 438.5 area, and then also around 440 and then 442, not to mention 443.89. However, I think it's very unlikely that we're going to see a push to the upside, and the odds greatly favor the market cooling off more because of the Fed speakers and also because of these current technicals. And looking at futures, I think it's extremely likely, and I am predicting the market's going to see downside from here. I'm thinking that because we're gapping down the pre-market, we have this like gap, there's going to be a small little pop. Maybe try to get it very close to like the mid 439 area, and then the downside is coming. I'm predicting we're going to see 437 very soon on SPY. Another like test of this chop zone between 436.64 to 436.25. And then after that, I'm predicting we're going to make our way all the way down to this 433 to 434 area. I'm leaning more in that direction, and those are going to be some support zones to watch for. And I'm once again predicting there's going to be downside coming. Now, I'm prepared for anything, of course, but I'm just saying always remember support and resistance, and I am leaning more bearish for now. As the market is starting to slow down, Tesla's looking a little bit weak for the morning. We had this potential setup, which is still not looking as strong. I mean, if you look right here, you can see Tesla had this very nice inverse head and shoulder structure. And for now, it came very close to playing out. I'm going to be looking for one more little pop on Tesla since it's still kind of green in the pre-market. One more little pop, it could get all the way up to this resistance, get very close to this like 264 area before this starts to see downside. I don't think it's going to go all the way up to like 268 to 270 now. It's looking a little bit weaker, but that's going to be the next resistance just in case. But whether it goes only up to this like resistance right here at 262.5 or 265 or so or not, either way, I do see Tesla cooling off very soon. We're gonna be watching support in the mid 250s, okay? And if that fails us, 250 and then 247 is going to be very important on Tesla, very important support. And if that fails us, we're going to be watching the mid 240s. But for now, like I said, watch all these support zones. I'm going to be looking for a small pop and more potential downside on Tesla. I think the market may slow it down. And I think the odds greatly favor that. More downside for Tesla and the market. For AMD, this is once again continuing to be on the downtrend. There's no clear sign of a bounce just yet, especially on the 4-hour time frame. It's also red in the pre-market. Could it try to get a bounce in the back test of like 120 before it continues going? Yes, but for now it's looking a little bearish. Neo is once again right in the pre-market. I did predict this. It could bounce to try to fill this gap up here in like the mid nines before it continues lower, and that's completely fine. It has deliveries in just about 10 to 11 days, so that's okay. For the QQQ, this is getting a bearish cross on the 4-hour time frame. I'm going to be looking for a small little bounce in the morning. Could get a back test of like getting very, very close to like 368 first before it starts to subside, but it still looks more bearish, right? A tiny little bounce before it continues to drop more. I'm going to be watching the supports very, very close to 36. First off, we have 365, 363, the entire zone right there. Then the 362s has support, and if that fails us, then 360 is likely going to come soon. So it's also looking more bearish. Uh, what else is there? We have, excuse me, Aapl. Apple's looking a little bit more bearish. Is kind of red for now. Bearish cross on the 4-hour time frame. I'm going to be watching for an 182 test on Aapl. If that fails, there's like 180 to be looking at. Nvidia is still holding up. It's still on an uptrend. Not really showing insane weakness just yet. It still has some relative strength to it. But I'm going to be watching to see if Nvidia could try to make its way up to get a retest of resistance at this 430 area. If it rejects, it's going to likely come down and start downtrending towards 420. If it manages to hold above 430, it has potential to continue to fight these higher levels. But there is a risk of a head and shoulders forming, so make sure you watch this during the back test of this 430 area. If it rejects, there's a serious risk of Nvidia coming down even lower. But anyways, guys, that's basically what I have for this video in this morning update. Thank you all so much for listening. I do apologize for coughing a little bit. It's super early in the morning, kind of cold out here, but it's okay. I'm still here. I'm still grinding, so please stay strong, everyone. Until then, watch the charts carefully. Uh, Always watch support and resistance. And let me just say the odds greatly favor downside for SPY and the QQQ. It's more likely now, looking at the current trend. Going to be looking for a back test first, a small little bounce in the morning by the time we open. Very small one before we see more downside. And I'm still leaning in the direction that downside is going to be the bigger move very, very soon. All right, guys. So thank you all for listening. Have a great, great, great day. Get ready for your trading. Do what you have to do, and I'll most definitely see you guys later on for the next video. Anything else I should talk about? Amazon and Meta. Amazon is still trying to hold up for now, but like I said, it's looking a little weak. Not giving us what we want. I could see this thing actually, if it breaks below the 50, it can actually drop lower into like the 120 area. Meta as well. I'm not really liking this chart too much. If it continues to downtrend, it could make its way closer to 272 because it's currently below 280. That's going to be important support on the 4-hour time frame. We're about to get a bearish cross on the PPO. Meta may see some downside too because of that. So watch the 272 support, 275 as well, and then 270, and then after that comes 269. Anyways, thank you for listening once again. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. And peace out.